Hey guys, Liquid Fire here. Thanks for joining me again tonight. So we are shifting gears back over to Ultimate Hunting as they have finally released DEVLOG 5. And as everyone knows who's been following Ultimate Hunting, this is the devlog that everyone's been waiting for because it's going to have the date for the demo in it. Except he didn't put the date for the demo in it. Yeah. So much for that. Yeah. Um, Apparently now, it's not going to be devlog 5. It's going to be video log number 5, which will be posted with the demo release date. So, more moving targets there. We kind of talked about the deadlines being kind of loose previously, and it just continues. So, not going to dwell on it too much, but yeah, to kind of recap things, if you weren't in the loop, initially the concept was we would be getting the demo over summer. I put it out there. He said it. The plan was to have it during summer, June, July, or August, and then he kind of said, well, it'll probably be July or August if it comes, and July came by, August came by, no demo showed up, no devlog 5 showed up, no communication about when the demo would come showed up. And most of us just kind of chilled and gave him until the end of summer calendar wise. So we waited to the fall equinox and still nothing. So we do finally have some communication going on, and obviously, the demo is still in the works. Apparently, the devlog is ready, so I'm guessing it's. I don't know. He's supposed to release the date in the devlog. They're still working on the demo, so I'm not sure how the devlog is ready if they don't know when the demo will be. So I don't know what's going on with that. Either way, the big elephant in the room is no demo timeline is given, but we do have devlog 5. So we're going to walk through everything it has and kind of focus on that instead of the missed deadline. And, well, nothing we can do about that anyway. So looking at devlog 5, again, everything is about sounds for this one. So it's even titled Devlog Sounds. A closer look at how sound design shapes the world of ultimate hunting, and we'll just kind of go through the post. I've pulled the videos out, so we'll run the video and kind of listen to things and take a look at some things. And one thing I do want to say before we even get into the first video, the quality of the video is not great. Okay, I don't really know what's going on. You know, a lot of times when you watch a video through YouTube, it takes some time before it gets into HD mode or whatever. So it kind of starts out a lesser quality and then improves. I don't know if that's what's been going on or if it was something to do with the way it was recorded and uploaded. But for me, every time I tried to watch them, even if I watched it, paused it, went back, anything I did to try to get it to give a good quality, it always changed quality at the same point. And when I first looked at these, it just really was off-putting, the video quality, and things just kept looking worse everything they'd released. But as I've watched them a second and third time now for a couple of them, it's not as bad as I initially thought it was. So don't let your gut feeling really drive you too much on the quality of the videos. They do get better towards the end of the videos, and I think that the image quality is probably better than what it looks in these. Again, there's lots of compression going on. It's going to be compressed with whatever recording software he used, and then YouTube's going to redo their thing, and then we're watching it and recording it, playing back the recording. So I mean, there's a ton of compression and just manipulation happening. So as usual with this, don't get too caught up on the image quality. And again, the focus on these was going to be the sound anyway. So let's get into it. So he says, "Hello everyone. Development is moving forward every day, step by step, and that's kind of been his mantra. And everything is moving slow, but it is moving step by step. Today, let's talk about sounds and the important role they play in the game. Our team is small. Yeah, it's small. It's a team of 2.5. The team is small, so creating some elements will take a bit more time." And it's a sort of turn on the volume while watching these. If you're listening to me talk, hopefully you do have the volume on because it's not going to work very well without it. Ambient sounds. So the African demo map is more than just a landscape. It's a living world where every sound matters. The desert, savanna, and riverbank all sound different. The wind carries grains of sand, and a distant insect buzzing can build tension better than music. Okay, that's actually not wrong. It really does really build a good environment. So the first one we have to look at is the waterfall sounds. And like I said, I pulled these out. So we have a video that I've downloaded here. And I'm just going to cue it up. And we'll play that back. All right, so in this one, there's a few little things that I wanted to point out. You can notice when you're first walking the difference in the sound on the ground. So you go from the grassy section to the little gravelly area, and then when it gets down into the water, you can hear the water. You can hear the directionality of the waterfall. So really good example of the directionality there. And here in just a second, he's going to turn back around. And there's something that I noticed. We've got a little issue here. So that rock is floating a little bit. Again, this was not supposed to be about the images. It's about the audio. So I'm not going to get too caught up in the video quality of things. But I mean, it doesn't look bad. And there's not a lot of audio here, but I mean, you've got running water and all that. So, I mean, I guess that sounds pretty good. Nothing horrible there. So the next piece they were looking at is the ambient sounds. So he says, "See those bushes? Move carefully. The rustle of leaves can reveal your position and scare off nearby animals. Step on dry branches, and every crack might mean something hears you before you notice. At night, the world of sound becomes even richer. Cicadas echo from the bush, and finally that eerie..." Oh, wait a minute. No, I read that wrong. Cicadas echoes from the bush, and finally that eerie, unsettling silence. So the next piece is more about the ambient sounds, but you'll get to see a little more than just the ambient sounds because of some blue wildebeest in the area that'll be calling out. So we're going to go ahead and get this one going. I don't want to talk too much, but the image quality is about to make a significant change, so don't read into it too badly yet. All right, so there's a few things in this that I'm not sure that I really like. Audio wise, we'll go ahead and just get it going again here. It's it's not bad. It's quiet. It's ambient noises, which is fine. You see the image quality change here that I was talking about. I'm not sure why he has the rings on here with no scope. Not sure what's going on with that. Um, who knows? Just whatever. And that is an elephant. So let me stop this. That is an elephant on that poor little truck back there. So, yeah. But this is one of the areas where I was like, man, the quality just isn't very good for the imagery. The It just looks bad. But again, we're in a test area. I don't know what all is being worked on. So I'm not going to read too much into it at this point. I'm assuming everything's turned down. It's nice to see what the information up in the corner is going to look like. Blue wildebeest. You see the sex is male, the status is eating. The distance is 223 to 671 meters. So it's a huge range, but you have the right direction. He is using some sound indicators, but watch this one on the left over here. So it'll pop up again here and you get a better look at it. So there's a noise coming from over here. But if you notice as we walk, it seems to move with us. So it's not like it's tied to one location. So like if that was coming from here, as you walk forward, that position seems like maybe it would move, but it kind of seems to move with us. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on, unless maybe it's something really, really, really far away and it just appears to be moving with us. So I'm not sure exactly what to think about that per se. But yeah, so I mean that's interesting. Um, it's nice to get a look at what the heads up is going to look like. But yeah, so not a lot to garner from this one, but you do hear some quietness. You do hear some of the basic ambient noises or whatever. So nothing too bad. If we move on to the next one, it says that near rivers you'll hear mosquitoes, especially after dark. Around animal droppings, flies start buzzing, a subtle hint that game might be nearby. You can watch and compare how different surfaces sound in the video below. I'm not sure what that. There's no segue there, and the surface sounds has nothing to do with what he set up here. Um, so we're just going to take this as some information that hopefully is useful in game and take a look or a listen to the surface sounds. So again, don't worry so much about what the quality looks like, but you can see the different ground textures. and hear the different audio for each of them. All right, so I mean, the sounds, you can tell you're on different textures, different ground surfaces, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I don't think there's any issues there. It does sound different. Uh, I struggle not looking at the images around us and the quality of it. But again, compression, compression, compression. But I look at something like this, that's not compression. That's a low level of detail in the distance. But again, I don't know what the settings are. I don't know how things are set up in this test bed. So can't really take too much out of it. Let me get this to play. You've got a wildebeest here. So I mean, you can't safely make too many assessments on much other than the sound of this. But I think it does sound realistic for the textures that they're on. So I'd say they did okay on that. Animal sounds. So I'll let you listen to this one before I give my input at all on it. But in the demo, you encounter 3 animal species, each with its own set of sounds. The hardest one to find wasn't the biggest animal, it was the warthog. The sounds of a wild boar or domestic pig might seem similar, but they don't reflect the character of this tough African fighter. For example, we can find 50 plus sounds of the blue wildebeest calling, but most are too low quality to use in game. Our sounds mainly come from paid libraries, or we try to create them from scratch, but this is difficult and time consuming. Some may think there is nothing complicated about it. You don't need many sounds, and I agree. That sentence, some may think there is nothing complicated about it. You don't need many sounds, and I agree. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, if there's a typo in there or what. To me, I think you do need many sounds. Personally, layering of sounds is what gives you the most realistic environment. When you have too few sounds, it's obviously going to sound fake. But when you start layering the sound of the ambient stuff, the water, the wind, different things rustling, with birds, with bugs, with whatever, with animal calls that you're actually hunting, with interaction sounds, you're walking, you're closing a door, whatever. The more you layer all the sounds, the better things sound, the more real they sound. In the world, it's not quiet. We're constantly inundated with different sounds. Everything from the sounds of, if you're at home, the sounds of your house, the electric hum that you don't even notice, but it's there. The sound of your lights, the sound if you have computers running, TVs, different electronics, your washer, your dryer, your fridge, all these sounds create the soundscapes that you live in every day, and it's a very deep and complex set of sounds. So I'm not sure what what he means by you don't need many sounds. So either way, let's get to the blue wildebeest call and listen to that, and then if I can launch it, then I'll give my thoughts. Okay, so um, and now what I do like, let me pause this again, is they're very vocal, and that's true of wildebeest. When you have a group of wildebeest, from what little bit of research I've done, they are very vocal. You'll hear a lot of calls, little short calls just like this. Um, but to me, the sound of this in and of itself is kind of lacking. So there's just not a robustness to it. It kind of reminds me, honestly, of a bad doe bleat. But if you go out online and pull the sounds of wildebeest, that's kind of what they sound like. So I mean, it's not horrible. Um, to me, I'm not really blown away with it, but I do like the frequency. So I think that they kind of got that right. They are very vocal apparently. I didn't realize how vocal they were. So I think that's not bad. Um, I'm not a fan of the actual quality of the sound from the wildebeest, but I don't know. I'm not around wildebeest every day, so I can't say that it's right or wrong, really. So we move on. So most of the animals will need key sound types: communication, warning, response to a call, fear, pain, and death. For particular species, we've also added charge and agitation sounds depending on what triggers an animal's emotions. So the good news is it sounds like we're going to have a lot more than what we've heard, like from the wildebeest. And they are apparently putting a lot of time and effort into sounds, which is important. And up here he says you don't need many sounds, and then down here he lists off a bunch of sounds that he needs. So I don't know. I'm assuming that I'm just not reading this the way he meant it, or he didn't type it the way he meant it. I don't know. Either way, there's going to be a lot of sounds, it sounds like. No pun intended. Weapon sounds. Let's move on. Every weapon has its own character and sound depending on its configuration. Change the caliber or barrel tip and you'll hear the difference. Add the small details that make it feel real. Reloading clicks, breath control, the sound of an empty magazine, or slow focused aiming. Not sure what slow focused aiming sounds like in the real world, but there's going to be a sound for it. They spent time discussing what a gunshot should sound like. Some wanted a powerful boom. Others preferred a more restrained tone. In the end, they added a gunfire gain slider to the audio settings so players can fine tune the intensity of the gunfire to their liking. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That to me is a really, really, really nice idea. Um, I think that there's some room to improve the implementation of the idea, but that's awesome. I've talked about it many times before. Not everybody needs to hear a gun crack blowing their speakers out. Yes, I get it. Guns are loud. There's no debate about it. I'm playing a game. I don't need to have the true power of a gunshot going off in my office or if you're in your living room or wherever. I game at night. So if I'm at 2 o'clock in the morning playing a game that has cannons going off, I can't do that over my surround sound. It's going to create issues. I can't do it during the day if my wife is on calls at work. So it kind of restricts you from running through speakers. But if you've got small kids, if you've got any number of things going on, you can't necessarily have that cannon sound going off. And Classic was horrible for it. They had some of the loudest freaking guns ever, and it would shake the house literally. I before when I was playing Classic, I didn't have a good headset, so I had everything running through the surround sound of my office. And when you shot off some of the bigger guns, um, it shook the house. I mean, it was just so freaking loud. And I've since moved to a headset, and it's actually the way to go. I could take my surround sound out now and just live off the headset. But the ability to crank down the sound of the gunshot would be great for me, even with the headset. I know what a gun sounds like. I don't need it to be blasting my ears as loud as it possibly can. So having the gunfire gain slider, that's a huge win to me. I think it's great. Um, and he even mentions if you've ever fired inside a confined space like a cave, well, you have to find out for yourself what happens. Yeah, it's very loud if you're in a confined space. But let's run the Buck Fear 150 sounds here. We'll go back and kind of look at this. All right. So there's a few things here that we need to walk through on this one. So first off, we're going to let it run into the menu so we can kind of see what the menu looks like. So you've got shop, inventory, map. Not sure what the not available is. Your atlas, your settings, and then menu. So you've got your money up top, resume, main menu, quit game, select and exit down here in the bottom. I apologize, my video player stuff is going to be over top of it. But listen, since this is about sound, as you go through these selections. No audio feedback at all. That, to me, needs to change. You need that audio when you're making selections to confirm that the selection's made. It just doesn't sound right without it. And this may be early, I don't know. But yeah, that's a miss in the sound department. Um, I'll leave this here for a moment so you can kind of look through everything. I'm not going to try to walk through all of it, but we will say we got weapons, ammo, sights, optics, lures, clothing, which is grayed out. You've got power, noise, accuracy, range, stability. So you've got all the information here about the different weapons. You can select the buck fear, go to optics here. You can see, well, let me go back to where you can see. Where you clicked on optics, you can see the binoculars you have. But he's going to go to sights, and he's got two different options: a 6x24 by 50 rifle scope, the Falcon Eye, and the OptiCross 1x6 rifle scope. So some information here. Again, no sounds at all. Now, when he clicked on buy, there's a sound here. That's good. That's a start. And again, back to the weapons. So you've got, I'm not sure what not available is here. He went to settings and is putting the scope on. Let me back up a little bit. Wow, that's really quick. So he goes to the little settings icon, and you see the barrel, the caliber, the scope, the muzzle, and the paint. And he's going to go to scope. He's going to select the scope, and then boom, he's out of it. So you don't get to see a whole lot more on what you can do, but you can get out of the menu quickly. So the next thing that jumped out is this right here. We're looking at the back of the scope, and it's just blank. Again, this is an video, a video about audio, not about the video or the video quality. So I don't know if that's going to be the way it is or what's going on with that. I get that they don't want to render a second scene, and with it being down the way it is, I kind of get that. But I would like to see something in here, maybe. I don't know. It just looks bad. Finally, the quality jumps up, so it looks better quality. So let me let that sound play again. I don't think it sounds bad. It's just a very gentle sound. It's very gentle. Now here comes a couple things that I am going to look at the video quality on, and I am going to make some judgments on the next probably 10 seconds worth of video here. The first thing, what is going on with the crosshairs? You can't hardly see them. That's really bad looking. The quality of the scope ring here that we're looking at, that's not good. I'm sorry to judge the quality of it, but that that just doesn't look good at all to me. But there is something that does look really good, and you'll listen. He's adjusting the zoom here, but watch the crosshairs. See them zoom in, zoom back out. That's the first focal plane. So that is cool. But now maybe this is a horrible lens quality, and the idea is to make it look really bad so you don't want to use it. That would be the case because you can't hardly see the crosshairs. That's just not okay. These need to be black and in your face and easily seen. And then you've got, I'm assuming this is like the impact position, which I like the concept. So it looks like as you hold your breath longer and longer, you start first being very accurate and you start to lose your accuracy the longer you hold it. The concept is kind of cool. The quality of this looks like a bad mobile game. So just kind of watch it real time. Back up a little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that just looks janky. Just janky. I'm sorry. I love the fact that it's a first focal plane scope. That's cool. I hate that this black ring stands out so much more than your actual crosshairs. I mean, I guess if you're using this, you don't need crosshairs. You aim at the yellow thing. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. Now, the actual rifle sound doesn't sound that bad. Did we pay attention? I didn't pay attention to what rifle it was. Let's, where was that? So Buckfear 150, it's a 243. Okay. So I don't think that sounds bad. So here in the sound settings, you've got master volume, music, sounds, ambient volume, voiceover volume, and then gunfire gain. So you've got normal and realistic. I would rather, well, listen to the difference. So here's normal. It is a little more muted, a little softer, not quite as sharp and ear piercing. But is there really that much of a difference? I'm not really sure that that's a significant change. So, yeah. Again, I like the idea. I think it needs to do a little more in terms of reducing the volume or whatever the goal is there. But the gunshot itself didn't sound too bad. The sound of the gun cycling and putting everything in, so I mean I think that sounds fine. It sounds like a very used gun. Light springs in there. It's been used a lot. Bolt doesn't sound bad. I don't have any issues with any of that. I mean, it's not. There's not a lot to it, and I don't think the gunshots sound bad either. The zoom, that thing though, oof. The the video quality of this is just the ring, the dot, the crosshairs, all that's just horrible to me. But again, we're supposed to be here for sounds. So let's move over to the bow. So this is the sloth. It's the bow. And I'm just going to stop it here. Yes, the video quality gets better. Let me jump to some better quality video here. At the very end. Okay. Here is the better quality video. Oh, I keep going too far. Every single time. Well, he goes so fast there. But yeah, this is just so bad. But part of it is that the video quality hadn't sharpened up. So let's let it run through from the beginning and just kind of watch and listen. So I'm going to stop it here again. You can see a major difference when the video quality improved. And this is one that I've tried again and again and again to get better quality video. Never got it to look any better. So the sound of it's not bad. I mean, you've got the sound of it drawing back. So you get the which that's fine. Um, Even with the low quality, this just looks rough to me. Everything's blown out, whatever. You get the sound of it hitting the wood. Now, that is one of the most quiet bows I've ever heard in my life. Now, I get we're not talking about a compound bow slapping, and we can assume that the bow's going to have silencers on the strings. You don't really see it, but we assume that's kind of what would be going on just based on the sound because you're not getting that extended boom or anything like that. But it's a very, very quiet bow. And I don't think it sounds bad. Um, it's interesting that the way he recorded this shooting at the post so you can see the hit and hear the hit and all that. Um, if the video quality were better, we could probably infer a little more about the shooting, but it just looks so rough that it's really, you can't really say much. And maybe it was just me. I'm not sure why the video quality was so bad, but I never was able to get it to come through any clearer until the very end here, the last few seconds. So even now, this is the clear. It's blown out. There's just not, it just doesn't look good to me. The bow doesn't. The arrow, the hand, yeah, I'm not impressed. The sound's not horrible though, so no issues there. And then we move on to the last one. So other sounds. Beyond the obvious, the game is filled with these subtle effects that create the complete experience. The characters breathing, the clothes rustling while crawling, an engine humming, a trailer creaking, or the distinctive click when using an item. Every slight sound has its purpose. And I agree with that. Not so much the statement up here that it's confusing, but this one I agree with. So let's listen to the vehicle sounds. Okay, so I mean, I don't know. It's not bad. I'm not too concerned about the sound of the vehicles, really. It's a hunting game, not a driving game. So whatever. Um, the sounds, maybe they're exactly the way they sound in real life. I don't know. I've never had a vehicle that sounded quite like that, but it is what it is. Um, again, to me, the quality of the video, yeah, it's better, and some of it doesn't look bad. But I'm really, really, really hoping that a lot of the video issues are just because of so much compression happening. Now, what I didn't dig was the sound when he hits this rock here. That just doesn't sound the way I would expect it. So here we go again. That that doesn't sound like a car crashing into a rock to me. But yeah, there is at least some sort of collision sound instead of just randomly stopping or something. And just when this video quality jumps, take a look over here. I'm not sure what this is floating up here. Again, it's not about what's in the video. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but I saw that, thought it was interesting. And again, just looking around, the quality, I hope it's compression. I really do, because if this is truly what it looks like, well, that's not the experience that I was hoping for. A lot of the videos that we've seen, a lot of the elements that we've seen, the different pieces of gear, they look really, really, really good. And now in game, they don't look so really, really, really good. But again, he could have the settings turned down as low as possible. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much. But some things just stand out. So, I don't know. As far as the sounds go, I think that's fine on that. So they say they've also included mission effects, NPC voices, and ambient reactions that respond dynamically to the player's action. Uh, yeah, I mean, if you run into something, it's going to make noise. If you close a door, it's going to make noise. I mean, that's kind of makes sense. But it needs to be there. So I'm glad they did that. This way, the world feels alive, breathing, reacting, and drawing you in. So, I mean, that's all good. He says that they're happy with the sounds so far. There's always room for improvement, but we're doing as well as we can with our small team. Really, really, really focusing on the small team part of things. I get it. Everybody gets it. We know it's a small team. We know that dev time's going to take longer because there's 2.5 people working on the game. That's fine. My complaint isn't that things are taking long. It's that you're setting your own deadlines and missing them. That's a problem. You know what the team is. You know what your cadence is. You know what your bandwidth is. You should be able to make a reasonable deadline for when something's going to happen. I get things happen. Things come up, whatever. But there's been so many instances of deadlines just being not just missed, but catastrophically missed. I mean, if you guys remember when it first popped up, we were looking at 2022 for the game. And then we waited for years on the trailer. And then we had the demo that was coming over the summer that it's almost winter. So that's the type of thing that bothers me. It's not that it takes a long time for a small team to put together a massive undertaking of a game. That's fine. No issues with that. But if you say you're going to deliver something, either deliver it or give some, upfront information and immediate information as to why you're not delivering it. Missing something once is one thing. Missing it twice is getting bad, but when you miss it every time, that's concerning. So I get why it keeps bringing up it's a small team, and it's fair. And, we do need to remember it is a small team. It is going to take time. This is not the type of game that's going to pop out quickly. They don't have the bandwidth to do everything they set out to do in a reasonable amount of time. I honestly question if they're going to be able to do everything that they portrayed the game to be in the beginning, especially with this small of a team. I don't think it's likely to happen. That's not to say it's going to be a bad game. It's not to say that it's not going to be a complete game. But I just can't imagine that it's going to have all of the bells and whistles that we were hearing about in Facebook, 4 years ago. It's just 3 years ago, 4 years ago, however many years it's been. I don't think that's what we're going to get in the long run. I think that there's going to be some interesting elements. I think that there's going to be some, I'll even say some groundbreaking elements to the game, especially with the Big Five, the way they're going to approach that. I think there's going to be some really cool things potentially that can happen with the game. The big question is, does it all mesh together and play well? Does it look the way we would expect it to look? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be out before 2028? Who knows? So all in all, I think that for what this is, the DEVLOG on sounds, I think the sounds are pretty good. I don't have any major concerns with the sounds. I think that things sound pretty decent. I think that there's some opportunity with the Wildebeest calls, but at the same time, I am not a master of the Wildebeest. I don't have one in the backyard to listen to all day, so my experience is either in games or listening to them, like National Geographic videos and stuff like that. So what do I know? I'm certainly not a Wildebeest expert, not even close. The gun, it sounded okay. Issues around the gun, but not in the sound. I think it was okay. Nothing blew me away with it. I do hope that they take a look at the gain and give us a little more control on that audio. The sound of the bow, I think it was fine. Nice, quiet, reserved. I don't have any issues with it being a quiet bow. I think that it would actually be really nice if it's a quiet bow, and that's reflected in the spook radius. So no issues there. The car sounds, yeah, whatever, they sound fine. Again, it's not a racing game. It's not something that I'm really too worried about. Surface sounds, I think they were fine. You could hear the different surfaces. You could get a good tell of the crunch versus the softness. I think that was fine. Ambient sounds, not a lot to pick up in this one, but I think that was fine. And the waterfall, I feel like it could have had a little more depth to it, but I think it was fine. There was good directionality, which is nice. So I don't know. All in all, I think the sounds are okay. I think bigger picture, there's other concerns that I have, but as far as the sounds go, I think we're okay. So that's about all we have on this one. I apologize for kind of jumping around and having to go through the different videos the way we did, but I think it was the best way I could put it all together and make it kind of easy to watch and navigate through. I'll put the links to everything in the description, of course. And if we do hear anything about when the demo actually is going to come out, or when the video log 5 or whatever they're calling it, that's supposed to have the demo dates in it, if we hear when that's going to come out, I'll let you guys know. But for now, we've just got the DEVLOG 5 without any demo dates. So at least we got some audio to listen to. All right, that's it. We'll let you know what we hear when we hear something. All right, y'all have a good night. God bless and happy hunting.